The Nebraska Senate Subcommittee eventually hired an amazing investigator named Gary Caridori, and he was finding other kids. Like, I've got all his investigative reports. As I said earlier, I've got like 200 passenger manifests. Those were the passenger manifests that Gary Caridori got. Everything that Gary Caridori acquired, I eventually acquired. And then he started really pursuing the child abuse angle. And as he was pursuing this, the FBI was threatening witnesses, threatening him. His phones were tapped. The FBI was heavily involved, the Omaha office, in covering this up. And Gary Caradori realized that one of the victims, her name is Alicia Owen, who came forward to Gary Caradori, told him that her lawyer had said that if she gave, if she said that Gary Caradori gave them money in a script, that her problems would be taken care of. And so, and she relayed that to Gary Caradori. And at that point, Gary Caradori realized that he had become the prey, not the predator. And he was an amazing investigator. And that was his thing, that was one of his favorite things, was getting girls out of trafficking scenarios.
Do we know who approached Alicia Owen exactly and said, if you say this whole thing is scripted?
Her attorney, Pamela Vukotic.
Okay.
Who has since surrendered her law license.
And so I'm assuming someone from some dark corner approached her attorney, relayed that. Like, she didn't come up with it on her own.
No, it was probably an FBI guy.
Okay.
Because those FBI guys were really dirty.
And so Caradori hears that, realizes, you know, I'm now the person that people are coming after. Where does he go from there? How does he decide to move forward with the investigation?
Okay, so two of the kids had told him about Rusty Nelson. And the FBI had been very draconian to Rusty Nelson. They said, get out of the state, or else you're going to have some problems. So he split.
They said they knew what he was doing, but they told him to leave. Like, we know you're a pedophile and you're taking photos of underage kids. You should leave the state. That was pretty much all they said to him.
That's what they said.
Okay.
And now Rusty would say he's not a pedophile, that he was taking pictures of them in compromising positions. So, I mean, that's what Rusty would say.
Yeah. It's never a good position to be in, to say, technically, I'm not a pedophile. Usually if you start a sentence like that, you're a pedophile.
So, Caradori found Rusty Nelson, who was living in the Southwest, and Caradori, under the cover of going to see the All-Star game with his 8-year-old son, AJ, he had his own plan. He flew to Washington, D.C. And I've got 5, with Rusty, his veracity is suspect. But I've got 4 people that corroborate him, that Gary Caridori did, in fact, get pictures in Chicago. And he was flying back to Nebraska, and his plane exploded over Lee County, Illinois. And he was killed, and his son was killed. And those pictures were never recovered.
Who was able to confirm that who was able to confirm that Caradori got the pictures when he flew to Chicago?
Paul Rodriguez, a former Washington Times journalist, Lauren Schmidt, the chairman of the Nebraska committee, his wife, Sandy Caradori, and also Donna Owen, Alicia's mother. So he had called these 4 people very cryptically from a payphone, but he wasn't cryptic enough.
What did he say? Essentially, like, I got what I needed, something like that?
Well, he told Rodriguez that he had gotten pictures.
Okay.
And then he told Schmidt that we got him. And he also told his wife that we got him. And then he told Donna that because Alicia had been arrested and she was in solitary, they put her in solitary confinement. Caradori told Alicia's mother, Donna Owen, that she would be the happiest mother in the world when he got back from Chicago.
So is Caradori, was he flying the plane?
Yes.
So he flew the plane. Where did he leave from to go to Chicago?
Chicago Midway Airport.
Okay, so he flew
from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln to Chicago. Then he's flying Chicago back to Lincoln. His plane crashes somewhere between there. That's the story, or just engine failure. What's the story?
It's broken up over a wide period, so or a wide tract of land, and the farmer heard an explosion. So I would think that it's fairly safe to surmise that the plane exploded. And now, according to the National Transportation Safety Board, the wings came off on his plane. And that does not happen with Cessnas. The wings just don't come off of this plane. But there was so much malfeasance in that cover-up, too. Everything with Franklin is a cover-up.